If you want your makeup to last all day this summer, save this video. I'm sharing my best tips for long-lasting summer makeup that actually survives the heat, humidity, and stays put all day. It all starts with your skin prep, and for summer, I would pick a lighter moisturizer. I like a gel to cream formula like this one by Duo, especially if you have oily skin or combination skin. If you have dry skin, then use a little bit more richer moisturizer like the Duo Instant Angel, for example, but apply a little bit less. The one thing you should never skip is a good sunscreen. I like a sunscreen that's SPF 50 and that doesn't leave any white cast, and that works well under my makeup. I really like this Innisfree, but there are other options too. Now, this is a tip that you might not have heard before, but I swear by the Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum if you have oily skin or even combination skin in your T-zone. It helps control the oiliness throughout the day, and that helps your makeup last longer. You only need 2 to 3 drops. I just apply on the areas where I sweat more, around my nose. Some people can apply on their upper lips, only where you sweat more to control that. And if you have enlarged pores, then you can use this pore filling type of primer. This one by Vanessa Marks is always really good too. I apply in the areas that I have more enlarged pores, and just with my fingers, I apply a little bit around my face. Now, this is an option step, but if you like a little bit of glow on your skin that looks like from within, this Lumi Glotion by L'Oreal is really good, and even makeup artists use. It adds a thin layer under your makeup, which I also think helps extend the wear of your makeup a little bit more and gives that beautiful sheen. For summer, I love this foundation from Dior because it works in 2 ways. You can apply a thin layer and works almost like a skin tint, gives a little coverage, evens out the skin tone, but doesn't look heavy at all. But if you want, you can build that foundation more and gives more of a medium coverage and lasts really, really well during summertime. Now, if you're looking for a more affordable option, a foundation that I love is this NYX, but it is a medium to high coverage foundation. For concealer, I'm going with my favorite, this Tower 28. It's a serum concealer that works really well during the heat. It's long lasting. I also really like the Estee Lauder one, the double wear, but you need to apply just a tiny amount. For your brows, the gel from Make Beauty lasts a really long time, and it holds really well too. I think something that works really well for summer makeup, long wear makeup, is applying thin layers of product and then locking in when you can. I'm gonna show you some steps where you're gonna use setting sprays or powders to fix your makeup. And another thing is looking for products that are actually long wearing, like this contour by Sacha Beauty. Their entire line is like for long wear makeup, and that's really important, especially during summertime. I love this liquid contour that they have, and it's super easy to blend too and lasts really well. This one is more the subtle side, but there are other shades too. And you'll see over here, I like to work with liquid and cream products first. Finish that first, and then I like to lock that layer in with a setting spray. I'm gonna show that in a second. And then I like to go with my powders and set one more time with a setting powder. This is a contour slash bronzer that is really good. This is by Tennille J, and look at how much product comes on it. Also, she has few products, but all her products are really long wearing. And if you have been looking for a contour that doesn't turn orange, this one is great. I did apply with a bigger brush at first, and then I went back with a more narrow brush. But I love this contour and lasts really well too. And I think you get a lot for the price compared to other high-end products too. Now for blushes, I'm going to show you a few options that I know they work really well, like long time. The KJ8 brand Lip and Cheek blushes. I like a matte blush with this soft blur finish, and they last really well. Sacha Beauty also has a great formula that's cream to powder and lasts really well on the face. The shades are beautiful too. And then Vanessa Marks has those blushes. This is a mini one, but she has bigger one too, and they last really well. If you like a creamy blush, the ones from Westman Atelier are the ones that last the longest for me. This is in the shade Mimi, which is more neutral, but you'll see I will top off with the Vanessa Marks in Rose Brunch, and the combination was really pretty, and they're both long wearing too. And just a quick note, the Vanessa Marks blushes are really pigmented, so I always like to tap on my hand first and then go to my face and build that up, because it's always easier to add more than to remove from the face. So I love this combination. I did notice I applied bronzer way too much on my face going down, so I went with my concealer back to fix and kind of blend the borders a little bit to have it in a more narrow area of my face. Now that I apply all my liquids and cream products, what I like to do is to grab my setting spray and apply a thin layer all over my face. I'm using this one by Charlotte Tilbury because it gives more of a glowy finish, but you can use a matte one if you prefer. Wait it dry out a little bit and then apply a loose setting powder. I'm using this one from L'Oreal because it's pretty affordable, and I also like the finish. It's not too matte, not like kind of glowy. It's the perfect in between. And I apply a thin layer of this powder over the face, and then I like to go back with other powder products. I also like the Makeup by Mario setting powder a lot because it's almost that in between, but if you have more oily skin, you might like the Huda Beauty better, and that one has a really thin powder texture. Now for my powders, I go with bronzer, blush, everything. I love this bronzer by YSL Beauty. And I apply with a fluffy brush because I don't want too much product too pigmented. I like that subtle look better. So where I went with my bronzer, I go with this one. And then I'm gonna also apply this contour trio. Actually, I'm gonna skip the contour part of it, but I love this lighter color powder because it's really fine, it's brightening, and I think it's great for blurring the pores. So I like to use in this area where I have the enlarged pores, under my eyes, a little bit on my nose, where I wanna hide the pores a little bit and give that brightening effect. This is such an underrated product, and it's by Calais. I'll link all the products in the description below so you guys can check it out too. And now I'll go back with a blush powder. I'm not as picky with blush powders, but I really love the ones by Too Faced. Those were my most used ones right now. And I like them because they give a blurring effect too. I also like the Kiko Milano powder. This Clinique one is great when I want that more burnt summer look. But today I'm using this Too Faced one. I think the shade is Head in Clouds, and I'm using with this small BK Beauty brushes. If you guys want a video about my favorite brushes, let me know in the comments and I can do that too and explain how to use each one. So I'm applying the blush over here. I forgot to record highlighter, but you can apply like a powder highlighter or more gel highlighter like KJ8. And then I go back with my setting powder for a final layer. If you have oily skin, the Danessa Marks might work well for you, or if you need a waterproof, the one size is great. For your eyeshadow, you need to have a base to make it last. I love this MAC 24 hours one because it doesn't add any color to my eyes, and a small amount is plenty. But you could also, instead of using this product, use a liquid eyeshadow. I have a few that I like. This one by Makeup by Mario is great for me because it's almost the same shade as my skin. This is the shade Sandstone. But you can use a colorful one and start your makeup with a little pigment too. I'm kind of hiding my little brows that are growing there. I also like the ones from Danessa Marks because they are waterproof. I have those two shades. I use the brown one as an eyeshadow and as an eyeliner. And the black one, I usually use as an eyeliner too, but she has colorful shades, foil shades, nude shades. I also like the MAC ones. They are a little bit more sheer than the options I showed you before, but you can actually use this all over your face, like your eyes, as blush, contours, and they're so beautiful. I'm actually using the shade Cool Spice today. It's a little bit of a cool tone and doesn't accumulate on the little fold I have on my eyes, which I really like. You can blend in with your fingers or with a brush, and I love how well they blend. And you can use just them if you want, but I like to use as a base for my eyeshadow. You can also mix the shades if you want, but I think that way is nice for the day, and then for the night you can add an eyeliner if you want, or apply a different color of eyeshadow on top. I actually use a powder eyeshadow on top, and that way I feel it lasts even longer too. The other item that I like in my makeup a lot is a good eyeliner, and this one from Tanel J's are the best for me in terms of being long wearing. They're called a Stay Line, and the name says it all. I also like the MAC ones. They're not as long wearing as Daniel, but they're really good, and that shade Coastal Rich is beautiful. For a more affordable option, Kiko Milan is great, and if you like a more colorful one, Kaleidos has beautiful ones. So I'm going back with the Tanel J in the shade Milk Chocolate and applying with a little bit brush, almost like making a little eyeliner, but with that long wearing eyeliner there. You can also use her liners as eyeshadows if you want and just smudge with your fingers. Then I top off with some sort of powder eyeshadow. I'm using the Danessa Marks one. You see this shade over there is perfect match for that eyeshadow from MAC as well. And I think it gives a beautiful sort of a blurring effect also. I have semi-hooded eyes, deep set eyes, if you will. So if you guys want to see videos on that too, let me know and I can help with that. I'm also adding a little bit of shimmer because the shimmer is just so pretty. And you see how this completely changed the eye look. I like both versions, but I could wear one for the day and the other one for the night. For mascaras, if you have oily eyelids like me, they might budge during the day. So my favorite type of mascara is a tubing mascara because they last all day. You don't look like a panda by the end of the night. And then it's also really easy to remove at night. Those two that I showed you, the Merit and the Maybelline one, the Sky Tubes, are tubing mascaras. The Merit one is a brown mascara that adds volume and length. And the Maybelline, I think we only have in black, but adds even more volume. So you can kind of see the difference there. And I went back with the Maybelline on the other eye just to even things out. And then for lip liners, I like something that wears really well, and I almost like to apply all over my lips. My favorites are the Tadil J, that same brand as my bronzer. This is Ruby Chocolate, I believe. I think this part cut it off, but I swatched Turkish Delight over there, which is that nude eyeliner. Then I just applied the Stone eyeliner from MAC, and then Root for Me, because I also like MAC lip liners a lot. Then I applied the Tadel J there in Ruby Chocolate and blending with a brush. And then for my favorite lipsticks that last really well, I love this Maybelline Vinyl lipstick in the shade Cheeky. Kiko Milan also make this great one. And then these lip stains from Cove Beauty are so beautiful. They apply almost like a gloss at first. They're super thin, but when it dries out, that same color will show afterwards and lasts a really long time. They are some of my favorite. I have like 3 shades, I think. For red ones, I found this Natasha Denona wears really well throughout the day too. And for this type of creamy formula, the MAC ones are my favorite. They don't last as much as the other ones, but the matte shades last more for me. If you apply a gloss on top of a lip liner or a lipstick, your makeup won't last as much throughout the day, but these are my favorite lip glosses because they're a little bit thicker, so I think they last a little more. The Maybelline, the Kiko, and Mob Beauty because it's more pigmented. See you next video!